Community Beacon, Fridays at 6:30 EST, with your hosts Michaeldseville and Joel Simmons. A channel whose focus is liberty. A place where the lessons discussed and taught will create openings to a more open and freer mindset. A mindset where you may reach the height of your potential and excel. Here are your hosts, Mike and Joel.
Good evening. It's 6:30. It has to be 6:30. That's when people are checking this out. What is going on, everyone? Happy December. I'm Mike Seville. I'm your real estate guy here in Palm Beach County. And on the other side of the camera, we have my brother from another mother, the one and only, the incomparable Mr. Joel Simmons of the Tenacity Foundation. What is going on, brother?
Hey, man. Another day. Glad to be here with you. Yep. It's almost like the therapy session is about to start. So I'm enjoying this. Glad to see all of y'all out there. We're from location to location, so y'all have to forgive me if I got any lag time in this, but it's all good. I am with the real estate king, Michaeldseville, so I'm glad to be in the place to be.
Oh, love it, love it, love it. You said almost like the therapy session. Sorry. That's funny. You know, but I'm always in. I got on here and I was like, you know what? I'm in a giving mood, and then I really thought about it. I'm always in a giving mood. We're in the holiday season, but regardless of whether it's the holiday season or not, I really treat every day. I'm learning to treat every day as just being a present, by the Most High. So it's always the holiday season for me, and I'm always in a giving mood. So I'm just hoping that the people who are with us are in a receiving mood, because if you are, there's going to be a lot of gems, a lot of things dropped during the show. As always, I mean, this is I can't really tell you when there was a show when we didn't drop any gems or there wasn't something that you could possibly pick up on. But this one will not let you down. Definitely. I have high expectations for this show, as always. I'm just going to do one reminder for us because, we have a bunch of different shows that we want you all to check in with. But I definitely want you all to like, share, comment, hit the notification button while you are here. If you enjoy what we're saying, I really, above all that, engage with us on the show. Engage with us if you catch this after the live show. Engage with us in public because we definitely want to hear your experiences and your thoughts and exactly what you are dealing with. Naturally, when we come to the show, we're going to be speaking from our own experiences. And some of this stuff is generally going to apply to you. So that's why it's even more important for you. And I take this like real estate as well. It's important for you to engage, because that way you can really get to what is going on with you, because you're having your own experience within life and you need it to be customized if you can't really see it. What do you think about that, brother? I'm all about the customization of a lot of this information that's coming that we put across.
I love that. I mean, for it to be customized to the individual, though, it does take for people to reach out. So it's important you all reach out and we're able to talk with you and whatnot. Otherwise, then, we just kind of give what we give because that's what's on our heart. When the Lord puts something on your heart, you have to speak it, especially if you're spirit driven, and we are passionate people. We are also purposeful people at the same rate, and so. And the thing about that is there's a balancing act that comes in between the two of those things. I believe, so some days you almost feel like you're 100% passion driven, and then other days it's like, listen, I just got to make this happen. My purpose is taking the front seat, and I have to I got to make it happen, whether I like to do it, whether I desire to do it, whether I want to do it. All of those things it doesn't matter anymore. We have to become incomparable at that very moment, and we have to press towards the mark that is calling us or that is moving us and in the direction that we need to go in order to be, at whatever level of success. I don't even want to use the word success because Success is like it's almost as if it is reserved. It's almost as if it is reserved just for those that are, looking to do something in business. And it's not just about business. It's more than that. It's more than that.
Absolutely. I call that alignment. I think you just got to be alignment. Alignment will come when you are purpose driven, you're intentional, values oriented, and you can set your goals accordingly. And then, the passion may be there. You got to be the passion. Guys, so I want to get into it. I want to talk today about mastering life. And I think this is going to be, I don't know how long we're going to spend on this topic because there's a couple of things that I want to get through. So maybe this will be a several part show. Maybe it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4 episodes. I'm not sure. But I definitely want us to get into the mastering life and mastering moments, uh, a part of it. I've been doing, you got to see my shirt. My shirt says, hang on, let me overthink this. My shirt says, hang on and let me overthink this. And it's interesting in the last maybe a week, a little over a week, one of my coaches, she told me, she said, mastering the art of minding your own business. Mastering the art of minding your own business. And I took that to heart. And I brought it to myself and I said, okay, this is great. And what happened was when I decided that, very important when you make that decision. When I make a decision that I was going to put that on the forefront as I'm working, and I don't know if you all have noticed, but in the past couple of months, I've been very, very still. I got a chance to really notice and put some things together because nowadays we're missing common sense. As a person from the gym, an older guy from the gym, just told me like maybe about 30 or 40 minutes ago. He said, Mike, I don't know what's going on. He's 75 years old. He was talking about his father. His father fought with General Patton, his football coach. I think he said he graduated um, Syracuse. He was a football player on Syracuse like in the 60s or something, 60s or 70s. So this guy is it's a pretty seasoned guy. He says it seems like we haven't mastered common sense. And I want to bring a lot of these things to the forefront because I think what is going on is we have an identity issue. We are having an identity most issue here in these United States of America. I'll speak from the experience, and so I really want us to get to the crux of it. I want us to do foundation, and we've been doing this for a long time. We've started with pillars and foundations. That probably was like some of our earlier shows. If you get a chance to look back on it, and this is going back almost 2 years, excuse me, over 2 years now. We've been talking about foundation and I want to demystify a lot of things. So that's where that's the preface for this show. Um, I want to really start off by demystifying this legacy slash generational wealth. I probably spoke a little bit about it on some other shows, but I want to delve deep into it because for whatever reason, we are overcomplicating this. Look, me too. I bought this shirt months ago for a reason. We can tend to really mystify a lot of these things that are based on principles and foundational thoughts and processes. A lot of these things go back to some of the to books. You can look to the Bible. You probably can look to the Torah. You can look to the Quran. A lot of these books are based on just foundational principles. So I'm going to get into it. And I have really four. I'm going to give you four. And this is just for probably 95. I'm going to be easy. I would say 95% of people. That's what I'm going to call the majority. 95% of people. Because what I've been seeing is a lot of people getting caught up in different things and chasing, really super chasing the wind. Not even just not chasing the wind, like super chasing the wind and chasing things that when they get there, it's ultimately not going to be for them, because there's a lot of things that is not within a lot of people's being. So let me give you some. Let me give you the average. And this is 95% of the people. And you can argue with me, you can engage with me. I'd love to hear your viewpoints on it. There's four things if you want to become successful in not in life. Four things to be successful in life. And this is the real American dream. Number one is your spouse slash partner. And I would even go further as the people that you decide to be around for the majority of your time. If you really took a look at your life, this is most of us, we talk to the same people, we engage with the same people. That's why it's even more so important that the spouse or partner that you pick, it's so important. And the brother we spoke a lot about this the last couple of episodes. I definitely know the last episode in regards to relationships. It's important about the relationships that you're in, and it's important that you all are equally yoked. And that comes from several different things. So the number one is your spouse, your partner, and your network. We want to master life. We want to master the moments. This is about being intentional. You have to be intentional. If you're picking a spouse or a partner, because essentially we'll believe that this is for life. This is a lifelong thing. If it's a business partner, there's going to be a lot of investment. There's a lot of time invested in these different things and your relationships. Who it is that you decide to hang around, right? Ultimately, we start to live unintentionally, and we just start to be around the people who just happen to be around us. But we really need to take an inventory as to the type of people that we're around. Now, human nature, and you all can look this up, human nature is going to tell you that you really need to be and I've been hearing this word a lot, tribe. Your tribe really is at 150 people. These are people who, when you see them, they say something to you. You probably engage in similar activities, whether it's church, whether it's going to the grocery store, whether it's just in the vicinity of where you are. It's about 150 people. This is essentially the amount of people that you can really remember, engage in, and they like you. They have similar values to you. They have similar goals to you. These are so 150 people. Let's not really mystify this. So within that 150 people, so what's going on now is that we're starting to get onto social media, we're getting online, and we're getting out of these 150 people. So you have someone who has a differing thought process from you. You're engaging with people who have different thought processes, hugely different experiences. They come from different cultures. They have different religions. They have different ways of beings. And these are the people that, when you get on social media, that you're arguing with. You're like, I don't even know how this person thinks that way. Like, it doesn't even make sense. Well, I'm going to tell you what, it 1000% makes sense to them based on their experience. And you're allowing these people to influence you. They're influencing you some negatively, some positive, maybe whatever, because I can see parts of it, because you shouldn't just negate them. There's certain things that you can take from other people, but at the core of it, we're bringing a lot of what these people have going on in their lives, and we're bringing it into our lives. So when we bring it into our lives, that causes all kinds of distress, because the people that you're around probably don't believe this either. So now you're attempting, we got this thing called influencers. You're attempting to be similar to this influencer, talk like this influencer, act like this influencer, in essence, be this influencer, really idolize these different influencers, and what they have going on has nothing to do with you or the 150 people that are within your tribe or think like you. Now, you may have people on the outer bands that equal more than this 150. I'm not saying that a lot of things that you say won't resonate with people outside of your 150, but ultimately you need to really master, and this is a part of getting to know who you are. Who am I? Where are my goals? Where did I get these ideals that I had from? and this ideal of life, and then you want to get around people who are similar. So getting back to it, that spouse and that partner, you're going online and you're figuring out like, okay, well, maybe my spouse or partner needs to be like this person. Once again, outside of your tribe, outside of your experience, you go and you obtain that, and then you wonder why we got 50% over 50% in regards to the divorce rate. We can't get along. We're not equally yoked. We're not committed. We don't have the same values. We don't have the same goals. We're thinking about different things. Now, I'm not saying that it can't work, but it's going to take some work. I had a thought process recently, and I was like, you know what? I tend to be open. This is what I do. I don't know if you all saw that Sylvester Stallone movie when he was arm wrestling and he puts his hat to the back when he's really putting in work. You have this thought process I had this thought process of actually being equally yoked. I'm like, I could essentially be equally yoked with anybody. I can be really easy to get along with because I can start to see both. I can empathize with people. I can understand people. Now, just because I can empathize and I understand with people, is going to take even more work if I'm not necessarily in agreement or in alignment with these people, or these people aren't in alignment with me. So here I am just looking to appease and appease and appease because this person is what I'm told is supposed to be the person. However, we don't have the same values and the same goals. And then oftentimes by the time we figure this out, this is too late. Say you have a child with this person. Say you've invested that with a person. Now we're talking really about 18 to 21 years if you want to have the responsibility of a child. And really, a child is lifetime. So now you're locked in with someone who's not necessarily have the same goals, has the same values as you. So then it's like, okay, so what do I do then? You can look to the brother. I remember I asked the brother, I said, brother, what do you do? This might have been off camera. I said, brother, what do you do if the scales are if we're just not if it's just not working? And he's like, well, the scales you just got to keep putting in. Essentially, the scales they're out of balance. You got to keep balancing the scales. But it will take work. It will take empathy, and it will take giving up some of the things that you may or may not want. That's number one. Number two, foundation.
Let me jump in.
Go ahead, brother.
Yeah. I mean, I'm loving where you're headed with all of this. One of the things that I heard while you were talking about the who, the what, the when, and all those things, I was like, man, you're talking about identity right then. You brought up identity again. And this identity issue is really serious. And just the pathway that you're leading down, talking about, as far as it goes with the relationship, whether it's your network, you said your spouse, your partner, your network. I thought that was really amazing how you said that, because when you look at it, I mean, everybody's not married. Everyone doesn't have, a significant other or someone that they partner with inside of a business, but we all have some type of network, some type of association, some type of friendship, some type of, balance amongst people. For the most part, there are a few people out there that don't have anyone, and I can understand that they may not even be watching this show, right? But I thought that was important because these identity issues, they change. They change. And so, like with that question about what do you do when you fall out of alignment, I started to think about that scripture in the book of Amos, the 3rd chapter, the 3rd verse, and there was a question that was asked: Can two walk together except they agree? And it's like you love the word alignment, and I understand that word. It's like, well, can two walk together except they are aligned, or can they at least need to agree? They got to agree on whatever it is. If we're going to go to the store, we have to agree that we're both going to the same store. We're going to walk together. If not, I'm going to end up going to the north. You're going to end up going to the south. We'll no longer be walking together, except we agree that I'm going to go to the north, you go to the south, and then we'll meet back central. And so there still needs to be some type of agreement, whether it's an agreement to agree or agreement to disagree or agreement to part ways or agreement to reform ways. Whatever it is, there has to be some type of agreement in order for us to stay aligned. And I think that that's really important because if we don't have, if we don't know who we are, then how can we agree with anybody? And I believe that that's what I hear that coming out of what you're talking about, and in the course of mastering life, you know, and mastering life, it's like know who you are. You know, there was a great scripture that almost everyone knows about, where Moses is asked to go back to the children of Israel, and he is going back and forth with God. He's just like, well, I don't really know how to speak well. And God is like, come on, man, I'm God, remember me. I'm the guy who spoke to you out of the I spoke with you out of the burning bush. Come on, man. you know and he's like, well, here comes your brother Aaron. He can speak well. He will be your prophet, and you'll be like a god. And Moses is like, oh man, this is heavy. It's like he cut me down. I can't squirm. I can't get around that, you know. And he's like, well, who am I going to tell them has sent me? I mean, because if Moses is going to be like my prophet and I'm going to be like a god to these people, well, who am I going to say sent me? I mean, come on now. And this part of this is just me thinking this through as a man, what must have been going through his mind. So you can take that with a grain of salt. But it's almost like, come on now, man. Nobody's going to believe this. No, that Aaron's the prophet and I'm a god. Ain't nobody gonna believe this. Oh well, maybe they will believe this because they believed in a whole lot of gods in that day. But who am I gonna say sent me? And God says, tell them I am sent you. I am that I am. And that's it. That's I wanna bring my exclamation point in right behind that, because the identity issue is what I'm referring to. We're
Yeah,
all created in the image of God. And God is saying, I am. He's like, I know who I am, period. You don't need
period.
a name. You don't need a philosophy. You don't need a doctrine. You don't need any of that stuff. I am who I am. You are speaking to somebody who is confident, who is sure. I am that I am. And as you being a representative of me, you need to be who you are. We all must be us. We had this discussion a couple of shows ago, and you were talking about the word be. And I love that. We even went offline and talked about it, because maybe a month or two ago, I brought up just being in a company of a group of men, in a men's group that I sometimes attend. That it's a big deal, but you don't just be, if you understand what I mean. And we can always dive deeper into it, but I don't want to take away from the four different things that cause a person to equal a successful life. So, like I said, let me just draw back before I go into the whole B aspect of it, and just draw in a I am, and then it's just like, what am I? May be the question that we need to ask ourselves in order, in order for us to identify, number one, with ourselves, with our God, and then with our people.
Listen, absolutely. I think that's an entire men's retreat within itself. I think we can spend a good 48 to 72 hours men's retreat where we start to delve into our goals, our values, our being, who we actually are, who we identify with, and then what we look like in the future. Absolutely. Because other I was getting into it, brother. You brought it up earlier. But I was going to get into the leadership training that needs to happen within the community. I heard someone say the other day, and I said, you know what, you're right. You are absolutely right. Is that, we have these three things as men where it's, protect, provide, and lead. Some say pastor, they want to keep the P's, what is it? What's the word? Alliteration or whatever, but I'm going to say lead, right? Because we can go into a whole different thing when you start talking about pastoring. But protect, provide, and lead. And then someone said, okay, so you want to lead. What was the last leadership book that you read? Like, where are you getting your leadership training from? So when we talk to a specific subculture in America, fathers being out of the households, only what is it, 70+ percent of children are being born in supposed single parent households. And I'm going to get into that at some point in time, so you all can understand the journey of it. Leadership is important, but let me get back to the actual foundational things. Number one is regards to being fruitful and multiply. So yes, you can go it alone, absolutely, but 95% of you all need somebody. Point blank. I can't even. You need somebody. You need because you want to be fruitful and multiply. Yes, you can go it alone, but it's going to be that much harder, and it might take that much more time if you're not in the being of it. So we can look at the numbers, and you all can debate this however you want to. The average black man in America makes a little less than $50,000 a year. The average black woman, although she is the most enrolled / educated, makes $30,000 a year. You want to? That's it. The average business owner, and we say, oh, there's this whole boss person thing going on. The average business owner, which is the black woman, she's having the most businesses, she's developing the most businesses, makes $20,000 gross. That don't sound like a business to me. That sounds like a hobby, a very low. If it is, it's a low paying job at 20 grand. When if you just went into the workforce, it'd be 30,000, because the people that hire the most black women, or the jobs that they tend to go into, is the government and teaching, etc. That's just the way it is. So you all can argue that if you want to, but let's just put those together. 50 grand, 30,000, that makes $80,000 for the household income. But if only 1 in every 4 black women is getting married, what happens? What's going on with the kids? Now the black man, I've got to include myself, you're having children out of wedlock, and now because one of the biggest robberies of wealth is going to be the United States government. I love you all. But through child support, through prison, that's time, that's money, that's going out of the house. So if you're paying child support, and now you have 2 households, there's 2 households going on. There's 2 sets of light bills. There's 2 sets of water bills. There's 2 refrigerators that need to be filled. Your child, I don't even believe in the word co-parenting. That's a brand new thing made up last 40 years. You talk to me about it. So now you're talking about co-parenting, and I've experienced it. You got 2 kids that have maybe 2 to 3 different minds, because that child's going to act different at the mother's house, and that child's going to act different at the father's house. Unless you 2 are going through in each other's house and have that type of relationship where you all are just intertwining. Then we start to get into step parents, and I said, I'm not even going to go that far. I'm just telling you from the beginning that it doesn't work. I don't know who started it. I'm not going to get into that argument. There's a lot of people that are a lot more eloquent than I am on speaking on that and have more information to back it up. And you can interpret and interpret the data how they need to interpret the data. One guy I know is going to be, he's a professor of educational studies. And I'll try to get his name for us. I want to say Tassan something, but he's out of California. Awesome guy. I love him. He doesn't have that tinge of hate towards anything. It's just, this is what is going on, and he's done the studies in regards to it. He really understands the pathology of what's going on actually in Western culture, which is an experiment. I want to get back to the thing. You need a partner, because if this guy's making 50 and this person's making 30, you put that together, that's 80. For my understanding, there's also a study done that actually says that happiness actually starts in nowadays at around $80,000 to $85,000. After you start making more than that, it doesn't really change. However, there we go. You need a spouse. Be fruitful, be multiplied. Go find you one. 95% of the people. Or if you want to be alone, then go ahead and be alone, but don't bring kids into the situation. Just give me the foundation, guys. Number 2, They can be number 2 or number 3, but I'm a real estate guy. Real estate, your residence, we'll get into that we got to put a men's study together, brother, a workshop. But being a homeowner, so first off, being a spouse, being equally yoked, taking some leadership classes, that's number one, understanding what exactly the provision is, and it's not just money. A father or a mother brings so much more to the table than just materialistic things. The time is more important than the money. That money that you get from child support, I know a guy who's paying $600 something, and it does not replace him as being a decent and father, biological father in a child's life. I don't debate. I want you all to talk to me about this because I'm showing you this shirt again. Real estate. Listen, guys. In 2019, homeowners in the U.S. had a median net worth of $255,000. Meanwhile, renters had a net worth of just $6,300. That's a difference of 40 times. 40 times the net worth in between the groups. This is a study done by CNBC, not Michaeldseville. I can go to, but this is what's going to. So let me tell you what happened since 2019. That has more than doubled since 2019. We're in 2023. And if you all can't tell, houses, specifically in South Florida, we went up, I think it was 50 or 60%, 60%. This is for homeowners. So most of our net worth is in our residence. I'm not talking about becoming this real estate mogul with investments. No, I'm talking about just owning your own residence and everything that comes with it. Your net worth would have probably doubled since if you bought a home in 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, and really the beginning of 2021. Your net worth would have doubled. So this is in 2019 because the studies happened in 2019. It was 255. Now in 2019, the median home in America was worth 271,000. I remember because I remember those numbers. It was around $270,000. The median home in America is over 300 some thousand. In Palm Beach County, it's now the median price for a home, sold home as of 3 days ago is $520,000. An FHA loan is 600. Is it 640,000? Give me 1 second. I'm going to tell you because the brother called me and was like, "Are you serious?" FHA loan is $621,000. When I got into real estate, this is in 2000, and FHA loans means that you can have lower. Most people get them, especially first-time home buyers. It's not necessarily just a first-time home buyer. You actually can buy 4 homes in an FHA loan within a certain period of time. When I started, it was 360,000. So it's doubled. FHA. You could have gotten a fourplex. A fourplex FHA in Palm Beach County was, I believe it was around 700,000. It's now 1.2 million in order for you to qualify for an FHA loan, a government-backed loan, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, etc. I'll tell you about it. So this is the power of just your real estate. Now, 90% of millionaires invest in real estate. Have a real estate portfolio. Why? Because they're not making any more land. It is what it is. So I would advise a person to, at the least, go get you some land somewhere in the world that's stable. You can go get, if you go to the Caribbean and figure it out, you can actually still get land here. Maybe it's going to be Georgia. Maybe it's going to be Alabama, Middle America, or something like that. But why not just have it? There's a property on east of me. This is in Palm Beach Gardens. If you go through there, Avenir, That's what, matter of fact, at the beginning of the show, we took pictures there. That was straight farmland. There was nothing but cows on there, agricultural land. If you go back there, you see it now. And this is back when people were telling you don't go west. It's swampland. Okay. Go anywhere you can go, figure out what it is you can get, and go get it. Progress goes north. So if you can go a little bit north, go get it. Fort Pierce, why not? It's almost over in Palm Beach County, and I don't want to sound crazy about it, but I now call Palm Beach County the billionaire's playground, specifically if you're on the east side of the highway. And you see these high rises going up, and people are buying them at over $1 million a pop. If you're not aware, in Rivera Beach, Stephen Ross, who owns the Dolphins, part of his group related, just bought the Ocean Reef Mall. They're not even asking questions. There was a time, and you all can talk about Rybovich. I don't have an issue with anybody, to be honest with you. I just, because it is what it is. Some of these groups were coming in there and asking you, what do you think we should do with the community? And because at that time, you were dealing with people who had tens of millions of dollars and hundreds of millions of dollars. Now you're dealing with people who have billions of dollars. There's no need for them to ask. I'm not saying that to impress on you, but I'm saying that to impress upon you that the time is now. I've been seeing people go out to Port St. Lucie. So there's an avenue for some people to take, because you're either going to take the drive or you're going to come out and invest the money. Some of us can't invest at this point in time, but there was a time when this money was free, less than 2, 3, 4% for an interest rate. But these are the numbers. Please talk to me about them if you feel like this is different. 90% of millionaires are investing in real estate. The average homeowner is worth 40 times in 2019, worth 40 times what a renter was worth. And it's more than that now. Do not get caught up in all of the rigmarole of it. This is the fact of the matter, and this is what 95% of you all need to be doing. You got any questions on that, brother? Because I know I went on for a little bit. If you have anything to add, or I can go into the third.
No, that was good, man. I think keep on running. I'm listening and learning right now. When you start that real estate piece, go for it.
Love it, brother. Love it. And I'm gonna tell you, people, you will figure out a way to be a homeowner when you are a homeowner. And there's people who have inherited homes and they are not homeowners and they lose it. It happens all the time. It happens all the time, but you have to be it. This is why you need to reach out. This is not about, I'm gonna come up on some money and this is happening and I can trick this, or I can go into flipping houses. I'm not telling you to do none of that. I'm not advising anybody to do any of that stuff. That stuff comes with its own situation. We talk about maintenance. We're talking about dealing with tenants, toilets, and termites. That's a whole different situation. I'm not talking you to sneak a house from somebody, and you got people who want to sell you wholesaling courses and flipping courses. These are things that people. This is the flash of America. I'm telling you how to become the American dream, not the illusion of what it looks like. We say cap now. That's the word. All this stuff is cap that you're seeing on the internet. I'm going to stand here and firm and tell you that. Okay. Number 3, God bless America. Insurance. I'm not donating any money to anyone's funeral. I don't eat fried fish like that, so I'm not donating to the fish fry. And I'm not, especially if I know you and you know me and this information, and I give this information freely. I'm just not donating. I'm coming to your funeral. I'm having a good time. When you come to my funeral, do not bring any money. If something's in you to bring flowers, it gives me dope, but do not donate to help me be buried. Don't do it. Come and have a great time. I'm getting it set to where it's going to be catered. The food is going to be there. I want you to come and celebrate the life. Michael, who lived his life on empty. That's my thought process right now. And I want all my people to do it. I don't want people stressing out about where the money's going to come from to bury this guy. I'm already gone. I'm not even concerned with it anymore. Right? I'm not there. I don't want you to come through and figure out this and figure out that And maybe at this point in time, I'm not sounding compassionate in the way that I'm giving you this information. However, this is just how it's very simple. Do not leave your children, do not leave your wife, do not leave your husband, do not leave your family to where it has to be that putting up, what is it, GoFundMe accounts to go bury you. Nah, just burn you at that point in time. It's not their responsibility when you have this information and you can have these conversations. We don't want to have these conversations. That's a whole other thing about mastering life. So we need to mark that down. We need to talk. Let's talk about this. And we avoid and avoid. Okay. Here's a good story for you. I just got a recent call from some person who just passed away of cancer. God bless. God bless him. Nice person, etc., etc. And I told the person on the phone, I said, you all knew this was going on. Why weren't y'all having conversations before this person passed? Now there's this whole, I gotta get up and I gotta move around and ooh, I'm not doing it. I can support as best as I can. What is it that you need from me? And I'm going to see if I can do that, just because I want to be kind and gentle. But it has to be within me. It's not nothing that you're going to put on me, because I'm not feeling any pressure from that. Your emergency is not my emergency, right? Especially when a lot of these things can be taken care of. You need to put this thing in place, especially if you're under 40 or 50. Guys, when you can buy a term policy for 30, 40, 50 bucks, $60, this brother on the other end can start talking to you about all the more intricate things.
The more stable. That's how I will put it. The more stable. Well, and I will jump in on that just for a moment.
Yeah, let me finish, brother, please. You can get a term. I'm not telling you to do anything crazy. This is basic. You can get a basic term you're under 50 for 30, 40, 50 bucks. I don't care what anybody says. That means that you can go without eating for a day or two, a month, to pay this off, to make sure that any debt that you have incurred for yourself, for your burial, if that's what you choose to do, to be buried in, I think the burial is going to cost you close to 10 grand, especially if you haven't bought the land, between $10,000 and $15,000, depending on where you want to be buried. Maybe you have a family burial plot or something, but you can get 10, 30, 40, 50 bucks, $500,000. You don't even really have to search for that. You can.
Yeah.
But
that's the part that I wanted.
Let me finish, brother, please. I'm gonna give you your time. I promise you. You can, and I have one more to go as well, so I can finish my 4 things. But this is not complicated stuff, because I don't want to overcomplicate it for you. That's the problem. A lot of this stuff is being mystified. It's not. There's nothing mystical about what I'm telling you, because this is for you able to do in this time. I'm not talking about, oh, well, in the 40s, 50s, 60s, we weren't able to. Done. I'm telling you what it is and what you can do now. 30, 40, 50 bucks. You're under 50. And if you're over 50, it might be $100 to make sure that your debt is taken care of. And don't leave your children or your people around you in debt, family members scrambling, trying to figure out where this money is going to come from. All right, brother, you go ahead.
Just real quick. Mm-hmm. There's two insurance policies that generally don't pay out. The percentage is high 90s. They never pay out. One of them is term.
You're going in and out, brother. You're going in and out.
So there's 2 different types of insurance policies that are high 90s that never pay out. So when people buy them, they buy them, but they don't ever pay out. One of them is term. Term is in high 90s. It's like 98%, never pays out. And the reason is because term is for a term. and people generally live longer than the term. And
That's fine.
once the term is complete, the price of insurance is expensive. And the other one is group term. And that's when you get insurance through your company. The average individual lives into their retirement days, leaves that company, and they no longer have insurance. And now, when it's time to get insurance, they're in their 60s, 65, and they're attempting to get it. So I've helped multiple people who had insurance but lost it because they either left a job or because they had a term policy and they didn't realize it. They thought that they were fine. They bought it 15, 20 years ago. They thought that it was okay because they weren't checking on it, and comes up expired. Now they have to pay an exorbitant amount of money to get something else, or they have some type of disease. They have cancer and they're no longer insurable. So they end up getting, an end of life type of policy. So I agree with you. I think that insurance is really, really important. I myself have a permanent insurance policy and a term insurance policy. I have both. Um, my term insurance policy, I have it for a short period of time, while I'm expanding my life, and I let my permanent grow. So that's the only thing that I wanted to mention. Real short.
Absolutely. But I want to keep this very basic. If you all want to talk about insurance and exactly how it relates to you, because that's why I preface this show with, if you wanted to get in depth with it, just like real estate. If we were going to talk about real estate, I can get in depth with real estate and what's the best situation for you. However, the point of the matter is just to keep it very basic. And I understand that term, it expires, but the whole point of it is if you die under 50, 60 years old and you had a chance to have term at 30, 40, $50, then I'm not, there's nothing I can tell you. And the company insurance, I totally understand that, but I'm not even talking about the company insurance. I'm just saying getting you a basic policy of insurance. That's it. Whatever else, if you have the expendable income, or if you want to, if you have the expendable income for the other things that go along with the other type of policies, once again, that brother is the one to talk to. Or even not, I wouldn't even call it expendable income. You should just talk to someone in regards to it. How about that? Does that satisfy?
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, go see somebody. Go see somebody,
Right.
or
Okay.
make sure you get the knowledge that you need to get, because whether it's me, whether it's Mike, you know, the people are listening to Dave Ramsey, and whatever it is, just make sure you get the knowledge about everything, because there's a lot of inexpensive things. But when it comes down to it, if you're really trying to protect your family, just make sure you get the thing that is most appropriate for you at the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great advice. Last, because I know the brother, we on a timeline here. Last is a skill. The last thing is a skill. Uh, Martin Luther King said, if you, he said, if you were a street sweeper, be the best darn street sweeper. Really, this is about making use of your time, being impactful, and being intentional in what it is that you do. You should figure out what is it, and this way, and what is it that I do, and can I be the best at it? It doesn't, and at this point, it doesn't matter because most of us don't master our occupation. We just go, we come home, and we collect a paycheck. We do the best that not. We just do what it is that's asked of us, and that's it. But while you're there, you should be making the best of your time. You should be refining your skills. You do not need to be a business owner. The numbers actually should tell you that when you look at the numbers, you actually shouldn't even be thinking about it. However, everyone is not here to own a business. You can be whatever it is, but just be the best at it. Become indispensable at whatever it is that you do. And you cannot be replaced. I talk often about Jeremy at uh, LA Fitness. I don't know if there's a better greeter at Fitness than Jeremy. I just don't. You just can't find it. A person who doesn't wait until the exact moment that their place opens in order to open it. The person that's engaging, the person that comes to work and that's just excited about being there, the person that goes around and does things that he probably doesn't necessarily need to do. But if he were to, right now, people are looking at him and are like, well, I just got to figure out how to put this brother somewhere. I know I have. I'm like, as soon as I get to a certain point, I want to go back and I want to hire Jeremy. You could be a secretary if you are a paralegal. If you become so indispensable to that lawyer that you can start to say what it is that you want because you are worth it, or you can easily find someplace else to go. If you're a lawyer, attorney, be the best attorney. If you're a real estate agent, be the best that you can be. If you're in insurance, be the best in insurance. And what does this take? This takes you constantly going on and just getting better, finding people who are at the top of your industry and asking questions. Finding people at the other side of the industry, because guess what? Success leaves clues. What is it that I could be doing while I'm here, and how can I be the best at it? Because the time is going by anyways. It's going by anyways. Master those moments. A lot of us are in industries where the same thing happens all the time. We either get the same questions, we're in the same predicament, it's the same forms, it's the same people that we're dealing with. Why not just be the best at it? And guess what happens when that happens? Then you start to increase your money. You start to increase your rewards. You start to increase the people that you're around. You start to what they call level up. And so now when we start to get into the actual questions and nitty gritty of, okay, to the other top three things, that also increases that you start using these things as tools so that you can put your family in the best lifestyle / neighborhood that you want to be in. Your kids in the best schools. You can buy that insurance policy that really is going to push you guys over the edge as to what's going to pay out. What you can talk to Joe and he can tell you about. Oh man, you can start to do this with it. You start to have this expendable income. You just make a better life and better way for yourself. But this comes with mastering your life and living your life on purpose. It's not. This is honestly, this is the generational wealth. And part of it is money, but a lot of it is information and knowledge as well. And these things get to be passed down when you have that time. You cannot put a price tag on my grandfather, a return of what my grandfather meant in my life. And his wife probably made more than him in her lifetime. My grandmother probably made more money than he did. But the effect that my grandfather had on me, I'm talking about my biological grandfather, had on me in my lifetime, I can't even I can't even I can't even quantify it. There's not a number you could put on it. But these are the four things, guys. Your partners, real estate, insurance, skill. You master those things over time, there's no way that you can lose. 95% of you guys. There's no way you can lose. All right, bro. I know.
I love it, man. I love it. If I were to add one thing that has that I've utilized in working towards mastering life, because I love this. I love the way you ended it too with skill. And I took a bunch of notes. I got a bunch of notes over here on some things that I'm going to level up myself. And what you were talking about, I mean, this was just gold. The men's retreat. I love that idea. And just like bringing these four things, it's the one thing that I've used, and this one actually came first for me because of my status of life, was my relationship with God. That was the one thing that has helped me so much, was just my relationship with God. So I implore all people to get a relationship with God. I know that a lot of times nowadays they're just like, just choose anything. It's almost like not to talk bad about Alcoholics Anonymous, because I like Alcoholics Anonymous. I love what they stand for, but sometimes they're like, a chair can be your God. I'm not really into that whole thing, to that whole philosophy. I know some people are, and some people, they use the terminology of, the universe speaks and stuff like that. And if that's where you are, then that's where you are. But having a relationship with God, with the Creator, I think it makes a huge difference in why you're seeking out to master life. And once again, this thing where Mike gave you those three eyes, I wrote them down as three eyes. For that last one, skill, be the best. He said impactful, intentional, and indispensable. I mean, you can only imagine, no matter what you do, when you are impacting your family, impacting your relationships, impacting your industry, impacting your community, when you are intentional in your family, intentional in your community, intentional in your industry, and you've become indispensable, where your family feels like they can't do it without you, your community feels like you need to be inside that meeting in order for it to be successful, your industry feels like without you, it's not going to work, it's not going to be successful. That's mastery, and I love that. I think that was powerful for me. It left me with something that I want to work on. So I love the episode. I'm very grateful to have been a part of this episode, and I pray that you all be blessed out there in every way.
Absolutely. All right, guys. You all have a great day. Any questions, any comments, any thoughts surrounding this? Make sure that you put it in the comment section, or even give me a call or ask me about it. No, don't give me a call. I'm lying. You can email me. You can, because I'm getting away from it. I love you all, but nope. Um, so if you see me in public, I definitely but thoughts, but put that information there in the comment section. So I definitely will get back to you. All right, you guys have a great day. We appreciate you all. Happy Friday, man. See you next week. Peace.
All right, peace.